course, coronavirus number 7.
Number 7.
We did the 6 already, and number 7. And now last week, we did this last week, and of course, because we're offline and some people may not have went back online, so we're going to do the same thing we did last week. We're going to add some additional highlights on this as well. But this is going to highlight some symptoms on coronavirus number 7, some symptoms. But before we do that, we're going to also go with the next graphic here and just a little bit about the gardening. We left this out last time. Let's talk about this because we talked about gardening in coronavirus number 6. And we helped put in a lot of gardenings this week and last week.
Yeah, I think it's so amazing. Once again, that was a graphic. But listen, it says that God is the master gardener.
Yes, he is.
There's no need in us thinking that we can do it on our own.
Okay.
But in the 6th volume of the Testimonies, page 186, it says the same God who guides the planets work in the vegetable garden.
Vegetable garden.
And we become laborers together with God. So we are the laborers.
All right.
And when we're working with God, in the garden, then God produces the fruit along with us as laborers.
So God is our master,
He is the master gardener.
The master gardener. So
and
we put in,
he
yes,
is
go right ahead,
also
honey.
the PhD, the master of public health.
Master of okay,
all right,
now,
okay,
all right now.
Okay,
I mean, pass the offering plate, Pastor. All right. See? Now, so what we're going to do, folks, we're going to highlight some symptoms that you may not have heard of. And so let's go to the next graphic. I want to leave this up on the screen because once we understand this graphic, it's going to be very clear.
Okay.
So this can be a little technical, so what I did is kind of change some wording, all right? So in order for a person to go into their house, you must have a key. The key must fit into the keyhole.
Right.
Opens up the door, and you go into your house. This is how the coronavirus does it. You've seen pictures of the coronavirus. It's a round ball with spikes. Those spikes are like keys, all right? And so the coronavirus is like a key. The doorknob is our cell. Now, there's a name for that. It's actually called angiotensin converting enzyme 2, ACE2.
Okay.
But see, I'm not going to use that word.
Okay, no, don't use that.
The word I'm going to use is keyhole receptor.
Oh, I like that better.
So when the key goes in the keyhole receptor, the coronavirus can enter into our cell and we are infected. So with that in mind, let's go to the next graphic. And this is the animation. So let's go and turn the page at this time as well. Now, before we click the animation, first of all, I need to explain this. So on the left is the coronavirus.
Right.
You see there all those spikes?
The little blue things.
Consider those as the keys of the coronavirus. Look at the middle of the screen there. That's the receptor. That's our cell. That's the keyhole, all right? So that key on the coronavirus must fit into that receptor. It's a perfect fit and enters into our body. Now let's run the animation at this time. It's about 8 seconds. And here it comes, bam, it fits perfectly. It goes into our cell, and that's how we are infected.
So keyhole. And it goes in.
That's our cell.
So what? Tell me a way in which that virus can actually get in. Like, you know, I know we got different things we're going to talk about.
Yes.
For the mouth, digestion, those are keyholes.
Okay, well, let's go to the next graphic, all right? Because this is one thing that happens, all right? Here's an area, as far as symptoms is concerned, that's not even on the Center for Disease Control website yet. It hasn't made it yet. Digestion. This is the route of infection. Here it is. The keyhole. Now I changed the word to make it plain and simple. Receptor is abundantly expressed throughout the gastrointestinal tract, the digestive system. So we have keyholes in our esophagus. We have keyholes in the stomach. We have keyholes in the small intestines. We have keyholes also in the large intestines. That's why you have symptoms of digestion. This hasn't even made it to the CDC's website yet. It will come because they're adding symptoms every week. This is now fairly new, but people are now experiencing digestive upsets because the keyholes that line throughout our digestive system.
So what would be a symptom of this digestive tract?
Okay, well, let's turn the page. This is the #1 digestive upset. Here it is. Notice the April 14th. The most reported gastrointestinal symptoms of COVID-19 is, here it is, folks, there it is, diarrhea.
Oh.
A third to up to more than a half of the patients It may precede respiratory symptoms. In other words, you always talk about fever, cough, shortness of breath, respiratory. Right. This here sometimes precedes that. And sometimes may be the only symptoms. Now, there are many symptoms.
Right.
You have vomiting, and of course you have diarrhea, the number one, upset stomach, nausea, that kind of thing. But this is the number one symptom as far as our digestive system is concerned. It may not have anything else other than this. It may precede shortness of breath. Because a lot of people may think, oh, I'm asymptomatic.
Right.
No, this is a symptom. It just hasn't been made known yet. But this is a symptom along with other digestive systems as well.
So we're finding out more and more things that also can cause an issue for the
So
virus.
we can add another symptom to this list. This list gets longer and longer just about every single week. Every single week. All right? So therefore, let's turn the page and let's look at something else. Where does it all begin? Okay, folks, now this is key.
Okay.
We have keyhole receptors on our tongue.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Now, I'm blessed. I'm fortunate that I'm married to, I call my Black Betty Crocker. And, I mean, food is so good, folks. It's so good. I find myself unconsciously, see, my wife knows where I'm going, so I'm going to look straight ahead. I'm not even going to look at her. It's going to be another long ride home this afternoon, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. When we eat with our hands, pick up the sandwich, but the food is so good, follow me now, we also tend to lick our fingers.
That's much better. Thank you. Okay, lick our fingers.
And the keyhole receptors are on our tongue. Therefore, that is the entry into the digestive system. I don't know, there's so much laughter around here. There's only about 4 people in the audience. I don't know where this is going. Maybe I'm missing something. But the point of it is, that's why they tell you to wash your hands, but particularly before you eat.
Right, right.
That's why it's important as far as that's concerned. So I want to give you another added entrance of not just the nostrils, we talk about that, but also through our mouth, and that's where it all begins, the tongue. It has a lot of keyhole receptors on the tongue.
Okay, I'm glad you're licking your fingers and then putting your fingers in your mouth. I understand that now.
Yeah,
okay, so
I know you were kind of fearful. You don't know where I was going.
I didn't know where you were going.
Sometimes you don't know what I'm going to say.
I know.
Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say. Okay, all right. So
I was going to say they might have to get the water ready, although nobody's here to baptize you.
Let's move on. As long as the water is lukewarm, I'd be all right. Okay, okay. Let's keep moving. Okay. Now, folks, we mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
This has made it to the CDC's website about a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Loss of smell. And when you have a loss of smell, you also have a loss of taste.
Yeah, yeah.
They're connected. Here it is. Loss of smell. Again, April. Now, there's a word for that. I just used a different word. Loss of smell is being the only symptom, sometimes the only symptoms in infected patients, up to 58%. Patients that present with loss of smell should be advised to self-isolate. Again, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have a symptom. I don't have a fever. I don't have a cough. I don't have shortness of breath. Oh, I'm good. No, this is a symptom. So you may not be asymptomatic. This is a symptom, loss of smell, and also a loss of taste as well.
So loss of smell and taste, that means we're talking now about another way the virus can enter. So let's quickly move through that one. Okay,
let's take a closer look. Now, this is very important right here because you're going to do a little demonstration, right, honey?
Yes.
Taking a closer look. We just saw this in Walmart yesterday. Listen to this, folks. Nasal cells display a very high, now I changed the wording, number of keyholes for the coronavirus infection, allowing wide viral entry. Now, let me explain what that means. So when we take in viruses through the nose, the nasal passage has a lot of entries, keyhole entries, and hits the nose, and we are infected. It goes all the way up to the olfactory bulb. The olfactory bulb gives us the sense of smell. It can also go through the brain. That's why, she don't mind me saying this, Donna McCrae, she made her story public on WJOU. Also, headaches, because now it can enter into the brain, damage the olfactory bulb, so we have a loss of smell. Now, honey,
one of the things that I see, now I know people are now finally putting a mask on.
All right, they're doing that.
but they're putting the mask on wrong.
Okay, what do you mean, baby?
Want
me to hold the mic for you?
No, they got the mask on their mouth, and it's supposed to cover the nose. This is another opening for the virus. So the mask has to cover the nose and the mouth.
That's right.
The nose and the mouth.
One lady had her mask on, covering the mouth, and her nose was exposed. I said, lady, you really need to also cover your nose too. Oh, okay. Because it goes in through the nose and the respiratory system, or goes up into the brain and affect our sense of smell as well.
All right, we need to close it on out.
All right, close it on out.
Yeah, let's close it out.
So let's turn the page.
All right. When we talk about that sense of smell, and we talk about what's going on.
When does it begin? How long it lasts?
Yeah.
Anosmia, that's the loss of smell, begins 1 to 8 days after infections, all right, the first week.
Okay.
The average duration is up to 21 days, and 98% of patients recover within 28 days. So you have the stem cells, they come up and replace those cells that are damaged as far as that's concerned. So it can be recovered.
So we're learning all about that, the different things from the mouth. We talk about the nose and the olfactory nerve. Let's talk about that last one when we talk about an aroma.
Okay, so we're closing out, folks. Suppose God lost his sense of smell.
Oh, that would not be good.
Look at this, folks. All right, here it is. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 180, 144. Listen to this. When underscore love, thoughtful kindness, gentle, unselfish courtesies, when those are demonstrated in a home, from these homes, here it is, morning and evening prayer ascends to God as, here it is, sweet incense.
Wow.
Oh, God's sense of smell when we pray. That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. So we're closing out John 10:10. Jesus said, I come, that they might have life and have it more abundantly.